Hang in there, it is. That's Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Welcome back to another episode of The Smylie Show. We are joined by Wesley, Bryan, and George Bryan, always known as the Bryan Bros. And George, we could finally see you there for a second. Yep. You were in the dark. We got your lighting right. I mean, you look great over there.
I mean, we're dialed. I mean, this is my spare, or it's the guest bedroom / office. Lighting's not great. This house is old, and but we made it work. Got a lamp. I'm literally eating a lampshade right now, but lighting's pretty solid.
All right. So what's the temp over there in Columbia today?
Are
y'all in Columbia? Are y'all in Augusta?
I'm Aiken, Wesley's Columbia, but it's the same.
Okay.
But 43 and cloudy and rainy.
Oof. No golf today?
No, thanks. No. Well, Wesley's going to be dialing it in the sim room, little live stream.
What you got going on today, Wes?
You know, just a little, obviously taking care of some babies, but I'm going to fire up a little live stream for a couple hours in the home lab down in the garage.
Okay.
Have a couple buds come over and fire it up.
Mm-hmm. I love it. All right. So I see you guys just about every day on our YouTube channel when I go to check out, pretty much just like, hey, what's going on at the channel? And every single day I see you two guys in a Roback commercial. And it's every day. It just, they have absolutely targeted me as a golf fan in the YouTube algorithm because they got me every day.
As they should.
Dude, does anybody else say this to you guys? Like, hey man, see you in the YouTube little 20-second short commercial every day?
Yeah, at church, everyone's like, they don't even watch. Maybe they're not subscribed to. Like, man, George, I keep seeing you pop up in my ads on YouTube. Like this Roback, like that's pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So,
and Smylie, let me be the first to introduce you to this thing called YouTube Premium. It will absolutely change your life. I think it's like $20 a month. True. And you don't ever have to watch an ad again on YouTube. And as an avid YouTube consumer like I am, YouTube Premium is 100% the way to go.
Okay.
And with
you get YouTube Music for free. So
you guys, when you go to check out your channel, you have YouTube Premium, and you don't have to look at one single ad.
I haven't watched an ad in 2 years, and it is glorious.
Because
what I do, so I'm like I mentioned, I'm a consumer as well. So I watch every video that kind of comes up on my feed, and I just see how people get into the videos and see kind of what the trends of setting up videos are and all that stuff. So I only watch probably 30 seconds to a minute of every one. So if I'm going to spend 30 seconds watching a video and I got to watch a 20-second Roback ad of myself, I'd probably be a little annoyed throughout the day. So
that makes
YouTube
sense.
Premium, totally worth it.
Well, we know you guys from your incredible YouTube channel. Y'all have built quite the audience, have tons of success. And I want to get into all that. But at the beginning of this, I want you guys to set me up. I mean, tell me about what it was like growing up together in a golfing family in South Carolina. Just kind of get me through college if you can.
Man, good luck.
Tell me there.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and laughs along the way. No, I mean, when we're highly competitive people, as I think everyone in the golf world or plays golf at a high level, very competitive. No different with us. Probably starting at age when Wesley got good enough to catch me because I'm 2 years older, probably 7, 8-ish, 9-ish, whatever that age was when it was like we could compete against each other and it was pretty fair. It was just pedal to the floor, like, wanting to beat each other's brains in every single day and everything. And like it got where we would be upset, angry, cry, like altercations, verbal. Only a few for physical. So it was cool. I mean, it got us a lot better at golf. It kind of honed that competitive spirit. And then that kind of tapered off into like when I got in college, we turned kind of to best friends where like, yes, we wanted to beat each other, but it was like we became more fans of each other than enemies. And it was cool. Cause I mean, again, having someone built in to Swift to push you was amazing, but also like, we had a lot of fun times, took a lot of fun golf trips with Dad, Dad being a head pro or a teaching pro. Never like forced us into golf. So we always had cultivated that relationship of fun with golf and not like this thing that we had to do. And so we just built this love around golf and we got to bond and go some cool places with Pops, but also out to be pretty decent golfers, which again was cool to like all the work you put in to like you play in college, play professional. So yeah, it was cool. But man, I would not wish anyone to have to sit around and watch us when we were probably 6, 7 to 17, 18.
I mean, see, you go to South Carolina. You're the older of the two. So Wesley, your decision to end up going to South Carolina, was it always going to be that way? Were you always going to follow Big Bro?
Yeah, and that was kind of the disappointing part is when it came to going through the recruiting process, there was no recruiting process.
Everybody's just like, oh, he's going to go to South Carolina.
Yeah, George made up my mind for me, and as soon as he said he was going to South Carolina, I knew. Assuming at the time, as a 9th grader, George was an 11th grader committed to South Carolina, I was kind of on the track to be able to get a scholarship and go, or at least do the D1 SEC thing. And
right.
So, yeah, George kind of made up my mind there, and obviously it was a great decision. We had an awesome time, and George talked about the blood, sweat, and tears, and I probably had more blood, sweat, and tears in the college scene than most. I went through some really dark times with the golf game. George was a 3-time All-American there. I never quite lived up to any of that. I think I maybe got second team All-SEC once, but yeah, we had a great time in college. I feel like it was the perfect spot for us to be able to continue that competitive drive that we had as George mentioned, 7, 8, 9, 10, all growing up. We got to continue and have like a built-in practice bud and someone that you knew was like-minded and had goals of playing professionally, and someone that would push you. But at the end of the day, being my brother, knowing that he absolutely wanted what was best for me, just like I wanted what was best for him. And so there wasn't a lot of that, like jealousy or I don't know, that you can sometimes see on college teams.
And George, I see a lot of comments that just talk about how consistent your game is. It's always there every single day. And then I go and look at the scoring averages at South Carolina, and freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, dude, it's like exactly the same every single year. And I just, you don't rarely you see that a player come in as a freshman that has like a 72 scoring average, which is in college is really good as far as the golf course that you play, the time of year that you play, and in tougher conditions. So to come in, have that 72 scoring average and then be consistent all the way through school, be a 3-time All-American. I mean, was that always consistency? Was that something you kind of prided yourself on every day?
Yeah, I mean, the way my game was built, like me and Wesley shot about the same thing a lot of time, I feel like, but he got to the 69s and 70s way different than I did. I would hit, 12 to 14 fairways, 16, 15 greens around, and have like 35 putts. And just very like average short game. No, like I putted good, but just the most average short game of all time. But like I hit the ball so well and was very confident. So like I just shot, very rarely would I shoot 76s and 7s. I would just shoot a bunch of 72s, 71, 70s. And then when the putter heated up, that's when I go 65, 64.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how my game has always been. Just even now, like, again, I don't practice as much in the game. It's not what it used to be, but at the same time, it's just very consistent, very boring. Wesley makes fun of me all the time. It's like, golly, like all you do is hit it 25, 30 feet away from the hole. Like, can you actually hit a good shot for once? I'm like, I don't hit great shots, but I just hit it hit fairways, hit greens, and 2-putt. Yeah. Well, but no, it was, I think coming into college, it was big. Dad always, hey, don't act like, or don't go in it with just trying to be on the team. Go in it with the mindset that you're the best player on the team. And like for most freshmen, they're going to go in there like, oh, I just want to make the team. And like, I'm probably not going to play because I'm a freshman. Where I came in with kind of like that, the upperclassman mentality where it's like, I'm going to beat everyone here. And I'm going to be the number one player on this team as a 17-year-old, which again, it's very rare because, it takes a lot of years leading up with pops telling me, hey, you're good enough. You're not for go in there. You can be number one or whatever. And so like I went in this expectation, like I'm going to work hard and I want to earn, the best player on the team. And so it helped that I feel like I had a head start. Not many dads or coaches are going to tell their 14 to 15-year-olds like, hey, I don't know. It was cool. And then, it translated that first year of success, and it kind of laid me the groundwork to like the confidence to actually see the results in college tournaments that, the last, or my 4 years of college was all really solid because of how played that freshman year.
Yeah, but but what George is not mentioning, as a 14, 15-year-old, he was like a fully developed man and like an unbelievable ball striker. Like physically, he had everything that he has right now as a 15-year-old. Yeah. As far as ball striking and premium ball striker. Like in middle school, he was like dunking basketballs and stuff. Like he just
George, I see you.
He just got there quick, and so
do you wear the glasses on the court back in the day too? Do you have the rec specs going, just coming down the lane and just catching bodies?
I think I was like sophomore year when I went to glasses / contacts. I can't remember. Yeah, Wesley.
I'm just picturing that.
No, I think in college when I played like some intramural basketball or like just played with.
That.
I was like, hey, I should get the like rec specs. That'd be sick. But obviously, me and basketball didn't go too long or too.
Yeah, that's relatable. Well, hey Wesley, so the blood, sweat, and tears in college, very relatable. I went through some ups and downs in college.
Smylie, we're the same.
I like to call myself a bit of a late bloomer, if you will, mainly because I would have days in college where the putter would be on, the ball striking would show up, and then my coach is like, holy crap, this guy's good. And then there's other days where I signed in qualifying for, I think, a 91 one day. Just like man, this game, it couldn't be harder right now. And we had Joel Damon on the podcast last week, and lately I've been just doing some Googling on players that we have on, and there was like this fun fact sheet that came up on Joel Damon. And one of the facts was Joel Damon. He likes to grill. He likes to read. So I asked him, and I was like, hey, do you like to do those things? He's like, well, I like to grill, and I don't really read. So I was like, okay, for 1 for 2. And so I do that this week with Wesley Bryan. Comes up 7 facts about Wesley Bryan. And one of the facts was, in college, he shot an 100, but signed for a 101. Is this true? And if it is, I need all the details.
Yeah, what a day.
It's true.
It was me right there.
Yeah, so I had a decent freshman campaign. I won a tournament. Feel like I got a little bit snubbed from the All-American side. Mm-hmm. My sophomore year had a very solid year. And at the time, I'm like a top 10 amateur in the world and played really great my sophomore year. And then my junior year comes around, and I don't even like saying it because it's a part of you and I's history of the game, but got, for lack of better terms, the oopsies off the tee.
Yeah.
And when I say oopsies, I mean the real oopsies.
Oh man!
So George, you're not even there. So this is his junior year. So you're graduating.
Yeah, George had left. I was just kind of a wandering. I was a wandering duck. And
how did that happen? Was it just something in technique wise, or would you hurt? Or
no,
any idea?
I wish I could put my finger on it so that I could avoid it in the future because it might come back.
Yeah.
But I had again. I played good at the USAM and then went to my first tournament at the farm in the fall.
Been there.
And I threw up an 85 round 1. And I was like, I hit a couple, more than a couple foul balls. And I was like, well, this is odd.
One had to be on the 10th hole.
Well, again, I think that there was enough to go around. So then the second round I played, it was back to normal, played terrible, shot like 75 or something. And then round 3, they came back, dropped another 85. For the third round. And at this point I was worried, but the farm, it's like it can be a difficult golf course. Mm-hmm. And then played decent for the next couple tournaments, finished like 20th or 30th. And I was like, man, that was weird. And then we get to Kiowa and Turtle Point. I mean, I love Kiowa Island, but I promise there's one piece of property I'll never step foot back on just because it'll bring back the horror stories. We get in the first round and man, it was a 36-hole day.
Oh, no.
And the first day was a struggle. Or the first round was a real struggle. And I don't even remember what I shot. Round 2 comes, and dude, I'm telling you, you
got nothing. Your brain's fried. You just went through battle for 6 hours, and now you got to go to war for another 6.
So now I'm like, don't care. I'm just going to try and figure this thing out because it showed up at the farm. It's back now. I think I shoot like 79 or something in the first round, and I'm way out of the tournament. So I make a commitment to try and figure it out. Well, the high oopsies really came in. I start doing some math at the turn. I think I shoot about 51 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I didn't get any better on the back nine.
Well, now you're thinking about it. Now you're
So,
like, you're just doing just some quick math. You know, I know
So I get to the
South Carolina LSU, they teach that type of math.
I know. So I get to the last hole, and it's a tough hole. And
He's texting me. You're texting me. I'm getting updates, by the way, from him. Like, man, Wesley, George. I'm like, whatever. So we'll talk about it later. Yeah,
Could you not have just like faked it like a hamstring injury and just kind of like hobbled in? You know, just like you got like literally a bird just flew so fast and took out my hammies, and you just I got to go in.
I know. So I get to the last hole and I start doing the math, and I'm like, gosh, I got to make triple to break 100. And there's OB right, and there's water left.
Oh God, what a nightmare!
Oh, huge nightmare. So, I end up I hit a couple Oscar Baileys, and then I get it on the green, and I need a 2-putt to break 100. And so I hit the first putt like 5 feet by, missed the comebacker. So then I shot 100, and then when it was all said and done on the scorecard, I guess something went wrong on one of the holes, and signed for a 101.
My man.
But then I continued the rest of the semester. Luckily, I still had another day to play the next day. And so what I ended up doing was taking every club out of my bag that I'd hit out of bounds that day. And so I didn't play with a driver, 3-wood, hybrid.
4 or 5 iron. You hit one of those out of bounds.
Like 5 iron. So I had like 4 iron, 6 iron, and all the wedges, and shot like 76 or something the final round. And it was pretty impressive. But
all right, so Wesley, so with that being said, like we know you're a PGA Tour winner, and you look back on those times. This game of golf obviously can be very challenging. So during, both of you can answer this. Is this game will humble you? How have y'all been able to stay grounded in being able to just work your tails off, trust the process, and just realize that, hey, this game is really stinking hard, and sometimes you can't get the most out of it.
Yeah, it's I mean, for me, it's probably honestly probably harder for me, or Wesley. It makes sense who he is and what he's done on the PGA Tour and how he's played. That's who he is. But for me, like, I was always like above Wesley, way better than him physically. Now, mentally, he was definitely a little better than I was. But again, on that track to be shoe-in PGA Tour player, given, how I progressed. But then kind of like him, I graduated college and it's either I know what it was. I'm like, okay, now I'm a pro golfer. So now I have to try harder and practice more. And so, but also gotten a little bit off like that summer, just kind of went through some swing things that weren't major, but like on the heels of turning pro, you want to get it fixed and get it right. And so that's when kind of just me turning into went from a great player, still was good, but like just very streaky average. And, never got to, I Mondayed into a Corn Ferry Tour my first or second year.
Yep.
Had some success on the mini tours, but again, it was just never good. And so then ran out of money playing pro golf. And then, you have in the back of your mind, you're like, wow, more than I might make it, but at the same time, like, what the heck? Like, I thought I was going to be on the PGA Tour, and now I'm not. And so having to fight those, seeing your buddies, guys like Harris English, Russell Henley, get on the PGA Tour early, and you're like, freaking A, like, I was just as good as them a year ago.
Way better in college.
Yeah.
Like I was never an All-American in college. It was barely like an all-region player. And so,
yeah. And so like, I'm fighting those who, again, as players, we look at compare like, oh, I should be better than him, or I should do this, I should get that. But at the same time, I think I learned a lot. You kind of start like, hey, golf's not everything. It starts like, it's just a game. Like I have other things that are great in life. It's not the end of the world if I'm a PGA Tour player or not. It'll be fine. And so I think over the years, just finally putting the perspective that golf is just a game that we play. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm a PGA Tour player, I'm still gonna have my family, my friends. If I'm not, if I never play golf again, I can't break 100. All that doesn't matter. Truly. And so like once I finally wrapped my head around that, it's like, I started playing much better golf now, like in this YouTube career of mine, like made a cut on PGA Tour, practicing very little. Like now still, I want to be very good at golf, but I still have that kind of drive within me for whatever reason. But that mindset of like not putting my entire worth into golf has allowed me to like finally see kind of what Wesley has seen all, like how he's been all his life, like where he truly cares, but at the same time, if he shoots 100, it's not going to bother him that much. It might hurt his ego a little bit, but like he's going to be the same person tomorrow. Where me, I shoot that 100. I'm like, my friends hate me. My family doesn't want anything to do with me. I'm never going to be good enough. Like, I go through all
yeah,
those.
Totally.
And so it's cool. It's finally that, it took me 37 years to get, or 35 to get to that point. And after 18 of those, hearing my dad tell me, hey, son, it's just a game. It's just a game, but like never believed until now, in my mid 30s. But Wesley's might've been a little bit tougher. He had some action. I never had to go through demons other than maybe some like chipping woes or like not being a great wedge player. But Wesley had actual things he had to fight through.
Yeah. And I feel like through college, I started the same thing. Like golf was everything in our life since we could ever remember. And kind of going through that transition period of college and then looking ahead to knowing what I wanted to do. I knew that golf was going to be woven into my stories some way, shape, or form, but coming to the realization that if I put all of my identity in golf, it's going to be a pretty useless life. And so that was kind of in high school, was saved and started putting my identity in something other than golf. And from there, I just feel like on the mental side, being able to rest in Christ instead of rest in my golf scores was what, and still to this day, I just don't want to, when it's all said and done, to be remembered as just the golf guy.
Yeah.
There's more to life than that. I got 3 girls here at the house, an amazing wife, and I'd rather be seen as more than just the golfer that had this career on YouTube or this career on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, that's all really well said, and a great perspective too. I think when you've gone through ups and downs, and like you, George, who've when you're trying to push and you see other guys have success, and you feel all these different emotions you maybe didn't feel in college because you were the top dog, you were the number one guy on the team, and then you try to, you see it really every year with guys coming out of college not being able to get through Q school, and just you just start trying so hard, and you're playing golf courses that are worse than you were playing in college. You're playing these mini tour events where you're just fighting, right? And George, you and I we played a mini tour event together. Do you remember that? That was in Columbia.
That was your.
What course
that was
is
the
it?
other side of your Columbia Country Club. That was kind of on your what was that, probably 2019?
That was in 2019. So man, I was like 3 years removed from being in the final group of the Masters. Yeah. Like really trying to like find my way back. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna start like I need to play tournaments. Like I need to go out and figure out if I can know how to get it in the hole. And then George and I got paired together, Wes. You'll love this. I don't remember what day it was. It feels like it was close to maybe the
first and second. I thought like it was 2 days, either the last round or the first and second.
We both played pretty decent. Like we didn't play bad.
You made the cut. We both made the cut.
I made $820. I found it on Google yesterday. T24 baby.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna like. For you, because again, from what it looks like, I only had limited interactions with you of late, but like you kind of experienced what all of it like. Very easy. You won on the PGA Tour, and then your game goes awry. But it doesn't, like, I'm sure you struggle with, man, like all these guys are still out there. I'm not, but at the same time, it looks like you have family, and I don't know. It seems like you're on the other side of that, where you're not like, okay, I don't have to be a PGA Tour winner to be like happy and be like satisfied.
Exactly.
So it's tough. We all go through it,
For years, I felt embarrassment. I felt anxiety. Like I just didn't really have a way of getting out. And it took me a really long time to get out of the spiral. I guess the best way to describe it. The social media was just absolutely like wearing me out. Just so many different angles. Like I just couldn't dodge the bullets. And then I'd get the driver in my hands. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this thing going to come and attack me? Is this a bear?
Yeah. Smylie, I've been there, done that. You want to know what the top question I get is?
What's that?
Why do you line the ball so far up off the heel? Well, when you go through some dark moment, you need to try and hit something other than the golf ball. So it just started creeping further and further away from there.
Wait, you just say, I like watching Sahith Theegala hit drivers. He lines it up the heel. And so why can't I?
Yeah, that's also true.
Well, speaking of the heel, that one of those, it was on the 18th hole in Columbia Country Club at that mini tour event. George Bryan set over this beautiful wedge shot. And I'm about to head up to walk up to the green after he hits. And this thing, I've never seen a ball go so sideways to the right shank. Do you remember this? He went onto the range.
Oh my goodness.
And then you get up and down for par. It was the most incredible wedge shank par.
God.
It was beautiful. That. Is this like we're so shanks bad. With the wedges? Is that every now and then, or is this a rare occurrence?
So back then, like 2019, so there's been a lot of different, like, not arcs of my golf career, but like college George. Then I'm kind of trying to find it 2010 to 2013 in the pro ranks, lose all my money, have to start doing trick shots to like try to fund my pro career. Kind of got a little bit better at golf. But then Wesley gets on the PGA Tour, and then I have to go full PGA Tour player, not like trick shot George.
Right.
Or not PGA, but chasing pro golf. And I'm like, okay, I'm a serious golfer now, and trying to like make a comeback. I was really serious. So my game was okay, but I still never felt like very comfortable because I knew like it was just hanging on by a thread every event I played. It never was like good, and I was in this weird stage of life. And 2019 was like the peak. Like I'm kind of, hadn't missed a Q school by one the last 2 years. Like money is definitely getting tight. We're gonna have to think about like how am I gonna like support a family, whatever. And so like again, anxiety, stress at every single step of the way when I was playing with you. So yeah, tension gets in there. You get a little nervous. Like,
we had fun. We had fun though. It was a great par. Hell of a par.
Yeah. No, it's not even. I made the cut. I'm never like, yeah, okay, I'm back. 69, 68 or whatever. Finished like 30th in the G Pro event.
Sick.
But wasn't back though.
Then I blew up my shoulder at just the right time, and we got to start the YouTube thing off.
Yeah. So in 2014, I was reading last night. I was curious to see when this thing got kicked off, and the quote that I read, this is George, said, "There's no group like us that's primarily doing golf shots." This is 2014. That's why we wanted to push it so hard. Golf is trying to get younger and hip, and we can fit that mold by bringing entertainment and fun. Literally, you guys you saw what the future looked like way before. I mean, was there a specific video that inspired you guys to start doing these trick shots? And was it 2014 when y'all started?
Yeah.
Is that the year?
January.
Yeah, I would say we're pioneers, but we're not. We saw on SportsCenter, top play was a couple kids on a driving range, and George and I were really broke and bored at this time, and we're like, dude, let's just go try it. Like, that for that to be the number one play on SportsCenter, like we made it a goal to make it on. Yeah, we made it a goal to be on SportsCenter that way, and so went out, tried it, figured out that I had kind of a knack to be able to hit the ball out of midair, and then we just started doing a bunch of wacky stuff, just honestly to see if we could get on SportsCenter. Then George kind of had the vision of, hey, you know what? Let's actually try and do this thing. Like, Dude Perfect is at the height of popularity on the internet, and there's nothing in the golf space, anything close to it. There's really no consistent golf content at all in the United States. So let's just try it. And again, you want to know who plays a huge part in getting us kicked off? Your boy, Ricky Fowler.
Oh, really? Yeah. Rick?
Yeah, he was like, in Twitter was like popping at the time. Yeah. And so he was tweeting out some of our videos.
Oh, he was? What did he do? So was you saying like, wow, that was hilarious, or that's a lot of fun? Like,
he'd be like, check out my boys doing this wild stuff. And then people started writing articles about it. And but we were also banging down doors of sending videos to people and
everyone.
Love it.
So then it kind of took off, and George, give George a lot of credit for seeing, like you said, the future and knowing like where the void was in the game of golf and where it was trending, and so here we are.
I went way back to like one of y'all's first videos, and like George is behind a rock and just like chunking balls over the rock while Wesley has the golf club like a baseball bat and hitting him out of midair. It's just like in the middle of a forest. And
so bad.
I was just thinking to myself, first off, how many drivers, Wesley, did you break? I mean, this is 2014. So like you weren't on tour yet. So like how many drivers did you have in the garage that you were capable of breaking before you're going to have to start paying for these drivers?
I mean, honestly, it was only a couple.
Wow. Because that's impressive.
I started after like the first little go around, like the first couple days of trying it out. And then it got pretty good, Smylie. Like,
you're like, I'm really good at this.
Yeah, I was like, man, I'll tell you what, I wish I should have tried baseball. I mean, I think I quit baseball way too early.
Oh God, man, that video, y'all need to go back and watch the beginning.
I don't,
George, you've got to go.
It's like, what are we doing?
We don't.
But it's how we started.
It's awesome though, man. I remember it too. Like I remember specifically.
You were in diapers.
No, come on, man. I was a senior in high school when you guys, or college when you guys got started doing this. So it's not unfamiliar territory. I remember watching it. And so, like, George, were you like editing and uploading all these videos to YouTube? Were you the one doing this? I can't see Wesley doing this.
No, we had a middle schooler.
Who was a middle schooler?
Yeah, we hired for one, but so it was like me. I'm saying very basic me, but then we had like the Whistler who was like helped us in YouTube. We'd send all the footage to them. They'd edit the video for us. And so in the early days, it was I mean, very. We didn't know what we were doing. We kind of did. We knew how to get the stuff on the camera, very poorly shot, I might add, but just then send it off. But then when kind of YouTube, when Wesley got on the PGA Tour way quicker than I thought he was going to do, because the whole goal was like, hey, we're going to try to use trick shots to fund our tour journey. Well, like within a year and a half, he was on the Corn Ferry winning, and then PGA Tour, so he left me in the dust. And then 2020, when people were like, hey, we're just like YouTube golf's kind of starting to come back, or change or evolve. Like your journey, your story is kind of unique. You're a good golfer. Like start posting again. So I'm like, well, okay, fine. Like I was kind of doing 2019 and 2018 were all life support videos. Like I knew in the back of my head, it's like, hey, I'm going to keep the channel alive. I didn't want to like not post, but they were awful videos. Like it was just me by myself being awkward. But I knew I was like, what if it comes back? And so 2019, we're just grinding through these terrible videos. 2020, it starts like me filming myself play actual rounds. Hey guys, George, welcome back to the channel. I got a 6-iron trying to hit 185 yards cut and watch me play golf, basically. And then COVID came. Wesley was like, why you never want to invite me back on the channel anymore? And then
it's our channel. I mean, it's Bryan Bros Golf, and here you are. Be like, I'm hurt, rehabbing right now, and I think we should. I mean, I kind of want to come hang out with my brother again.
And so that's when Bryan Bros 2.0 came. Like again, me shooting and then actually editing all the videos myself for the first year and some change. I had no idea what I was doing.
You're just grinding,
I had no
man.
like YouTube video, how to edit video, how to use Final Cut. Like texting people, hey, so like, how do I get this and whatever? And so it was a lot of fun because again, pro golf, me being like a professional golfer was out the window. Like I wanted to be good, but like I knew after like probably the first month or two of doing YouTube again, like not making a whole bunch of money, but like this could be a job. Like it's more. I mean, I was caddying at Sage Valley. I was doing odds and ends to like try to just like pay the bills. Yeah. And but I had some flexibility with time. We didn't have any kids, and a few months in, we're like, I'm just gonna go full time YouTube. Like, I'm not gonna try to fund a professional career. Like, if it happens, it happens. But like, we'll just try to like make consistent videos. The videos with Wesley, people are enjoying because there's no PGA Tour golf. So you had high level golf on YouTube from a PGA Tour player, me, and it was a perfect storm. And somehow, 5 years later, we are where we are now and still growing and to a decent golfer again, which is kind of cool.
That is fun. And was there like a video, or George, was there a video that during that COVID stretch on YouTube where y'all really started to see some traction in whether it be the view count, subscriber account, just one video that y'all think kind of changed the game?
Yeah, we had we built because we did it so short, we built a decent subscriber base from the trick shot days. Like let's say 40,000 subscribers. And so when we fired it back up, when we started playing the matches,
you're ahead of the game. Ahead of the game.
Yes, exactly. And so we put out one match, George and I playing 9 holes, acting like idiots. And we went back and watched it recently. It's terrible, but it's
not bad.
Right. It wasn't. It just wasn't produced well. It was fun content, but the videos started it got 100,000 views and 200,000 views, 300,000. And so you started to see that, hey, this is actually like going out into an algorithm, and there's people that are choosing to watch it, even though they're not following us or whatever it was. And so then we put out a second match, a third match, a fourth match, and started to evolve and they were getting hundreds of thousands of views on them. And then things obviously slowed down for a little bit. But at that point, we kind of knew we had something. And George was able to start having a very legitimate business out of it. Because at that point, you have people that are reaching out and wanting to, hey, come here, do this. Hey, would you be interested in promoting this product or whatever it was? So we kind of were able to capitalize really on the backside of COVID and again, it was perfect timing for us with my injuries and having a lot of downtime. And yeah, and then I guess our dynamic people enjoyed it on the internet, and
it's a lot of fun to watch, man. You guys, I mean, I've known you guys for quite some time now, so to see you guys have as much success, if you have 524,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm just curious, what would be the favorite thing that y'all have filmed to this point?
I mean, like the major stuff that we've done with Grant the last year, major cut, is something that was birthed, like Wesley and Grant, this idea that kind of merged YouTube golf, pro golf, and kind of into one thing. Like, you know, can YouTubers make a cut in a former or a past major championship at the major championship course? You know, so it gives you like people, oh, can they play good golf? But then the dynamic of us three competing against each other, and it's just like this perfect like blend of YouTube and PGA Tour golf. You know, the PGA Tour player in Wesley, myself, who's played in some events. And then Grant, who's, you know, not a pro golfer, but is very good. And so those are just fun to shoot and play in. Because, I mean, again, I get nervous in all my videos because I'm an idiot. And just for whatever reason, I can't not be nervous and care about playing good golf.
I think you'll always be that way.
I know. But those ones especially because, like, I actually want to make these cuts, even though, like, you know, usually, for whatever reason, I get nervous like I would in a tournament. Like, we played at Sawgrass this past week or 2 weeks ago, and playing the 16th, 17th, 18th hole, I'm telling you, I mean, I can drop a score. My heart rate was like almost 160 on 17.
Oh my gosh.
How do you do it? It's a wedge. Yeah. It's literally like, what are we doing? But that's just like, I get amped up. And so it's cool because like, I don't.
You still get to feel the juice, man.
Yeah.
He's still got the juice. But the cool thing about that series is you're able to see us. We throw the leaderboard up from the actual event every 6 holes, so you see all the names that you watch on television and where we stack up against them. Now we know that the conditions aren't the same. Like, we're absolutely aware of that, but still, it's the closest. It's the closest that, as YouTubers, we can get to it. And then the other thing that I really feel like changed the game this past year was our $100,000 skins game. With 6 YouTubers and seeing guys like, obviously I've played a lot of rounds and had a lot of putts for a lot of money, and I'm not trying to say that arrogantly, but just the nature of the PGA Tour, you find yourself in positions where you have putts that are worth a couple $100,000, and it's relatively nerve wracking. But the guys on YouTube having putts for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 that have never hit a putt for money in their life. I'm telling you, it was so. I loved every second of it.
You're just howling.
I was loving it.
You're just like, welcome to my world. Welcome to my world.
Yeah. If you hadn't seen the video, I got blank 0 skins with 6.
Oh, really?
With me and 5 YouTubers. Yep, I got 0 skins.
Wow.
And so
I need to go check that one out.
Yeah, that was one of the most fun videos that we've had doing, or that we've done. And
well, as you guys know, I'm in the TV side now, so we get all the requests for Wesley Bryan to show up on our television screens, and a little bit that comes from the George Bryan, Wesley, the Bryan Bros Twitter account, which granted
used to. I've been backing off. I'm backing off because again.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's funny.
I mean, it's like it goes Scotty Scheffler, Wesley Bryant now, as far as like what the people want to see.
Well, I'm guilty as charged.
There's a novelty to it, like and we've leaned into the lack of airtime, and I don't think it bothers us one bit. And it's actually fun seeing people legitimately get angry over it.
Oh, and so mad!
You can't find a comment section that the PGA Tour puts out, that NBC puts out, that Golf Channel puts out, that CBS puts out. You can't find a comment section that is not our army that's just berating the people.
Oh my God. Like they'll tweet at me, dude. They're like, dude, y'all need to show Wesley more. It's like, you think I control what comes up on your television screen? I just tell you where he's hitting his 7-iron, man. That's all I say.
No, it's funny because like again, early on, you know, as a brother, I want to watch him on TV. Like I'm sitting here like living and dying better every shot. I just want to see it. I want to see but then, you know, you kind of like, it was probably last year. I can't remember when I'd tweet like, "Hey, Wesley's so it's like, can we see Wesley? Can we see Wesley?" Knowing it'd get like a little engagement and kind of like, again, there's a tactical side behind it because I know it's not like people of ours will appreciate it and kind of lean into it a little bit.
Right.
Get the Twitter going. But of late, I have realized like, okay, I don't need to like
No, I was just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
I love it when I see George fired up the Twitter.
To be fair,
I get
at this point, we are convinced there is a little bit of a conspiracy theory,
Okay.
and I'm a conspiracy theory guy.
I love that.
And I've asked a few different people just to run some numbers of people, because I actually played relatively good this fall,
Yeah.
and spent a lot of time on the first couple pages of the leaderboards, and I felt like if they were to run some numbers on people that like average position on across these days and amount of shots shown, I'm just curious what the numbers would come back, because I'm virtually certain
Yeah.
that there's some higher ups that
right.
have for. And again,
I'll run it
it's
up our
all
back
on me.
channels to see what's going on back here.
Yeah, Smylie, get after it for
We'll
us.
get the yarn back here and just really tie these things together.
Smylie, the hate for me, I understand. I have made my own bed and I have to lay in it. I have said a lot of ridiculous things to very important people, and I would say it's probably going to be my fatal flaw at some point. I'm going to say the wrong thing to the wrong person, but I also do it in jest. I have a good time. I like to joke around.
Sure.
And sometimes my sarcasm and humor in the corporate world doesn't go over like I have it drawn out in my head.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, Wesley, real quick on 2024, like that was a really nice, I would call it a comeback season. You're right there having a chance to get inside the top 125. I had a front row seat in the booth at the RSM. So just tell me a little bit about last season. Like, what about your game? You know, George has even just talked about in this episode, like not getting to practice as much. Charlie and I have talked about on the podcast about, hey, I think his reps are probably the reps he's getting on the road. So combine that with the amount of travel, where you're playing. I mean, 2024 just had to be just the craziest year ever for you.
Yeah, it was. And you said not as much practice time. It's basically zero practice time. Like every day it's either streaming, filming, traveling at a tour event, or a weekend. Well, weekends off at tour events is a regular thing for me as well, but weekends with the fam. Like I got 3 girls, and again, like trying to balance being a dad, have 2 full-time jobs, and it's a lot. But
how are you gonna manage that moving forward? Like with this huge YouTube career that you guys both have, and then hey, I mean, you don't take like when you have PGA Tour starts and they're giving you a tee time, like hard to turn that down, right?
Right, I know. But I made the commitment last year that I was gonna dial back my focus on the PGA Tour and playing professionally, and channel more of my energy to the YouTube side, and I just. Through that, and it was a tough decision because, like I said, I saw my game starting to trend in the right direction, and even in 2023, having a little bit of success as well. And just where I was very at peace with the decision to, hey, you know what, the PGA Tour might not be it for me, and I'm okay with that. But again, if I get in tournaments, I want to play. I still have the competitive side to me. But I made the decision just to put my focus on YouTube, knowing that what we're doing there could potentially, for the bigger picture and the greater good and the impact that we're going to have in the game of golf, is potentially more than me even being a top 20 player in the world. So yeah, I made that decision. And then again, once I was freed up a little bit, the golf game got good. I started taking it a lot less serious, and all of my practice rounds turned into, quite literally jokes or filming videos. And again, even 7-8 years ago, I remember we fired up a Twitch stream, you and I, at Napa. I don't know if you remember that.
I did.
But
that was 5 years ago. 2020.
Yeah, you and I, we played a little match on Twitch. We can go find it. The record's there. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
what was it for? Was it on y'all's channel?
It was just on our Twitch channel way back when. Like you were part of the pioneer story for us.
Holy moly! Here I am. I didn't know I was in. I didn't know I had it in my DNA. Here I am 5 years ago.
I think genuinely it was one of our very first streams on Twitch.
Wow. Was it just you and I, or was it a match?
No, just a little practice round we were playing together in Napa. And
LOL, do not remember that.
Yeah.
Who won?
Don't remember.
Napa, it could have been Wesley. Wesley's not played Napa. Well, actually, you played good there last year.
I've played nice there. I kind of feel like not remembering anything that I won on 18. But that's just how I feel. I don't know. Could be right.
It has been pretty impressive watching Wesley. You know, everyone's gonna say, oh, I mean, the top comments and questions, and even like probably where you're at, like, oh, I can't imagine you'd rather be commentating than play on the PGA Tour. Wesley, I can't believe you'd rather film YouTube videos than play on the PGA Tour. But like where we're at now, it's like PGA Tour is amazing, but there's some things that like in our current light, like what we're doing now is like you get more time with family, or I mean, it's just there's some
I feel that
trade-offs that like
yeah,
whatever. And so, but watching him play, and like he still has that drive, but he's gotten so much better the last year because again that pressure's taken off where like he doesn't feel like he has to do it for his job anymore, but also like he's going into it way looser, knowing that it's kind of like when I play in these events now, like YouTube is my main job. So like the reason I can make a cut in the PGA Tour event out of never playing one is because like at the end of the day, I know that's not I'm not doing it for my livelihood, which makes a big difference. But he's still going into these, finished 25th at the Farmers.
That's awesome. I mean, if you play Torrey Pines, you know.
And I spilled my giblets all over the back nine of that place too.
But his practice round was at Aviara filming a 1v1 match, on Tuesday, like the day before.
That.
And so like he goes into it. Now, some people are going to say, oh, he's not taking it seriously, but there's a part of that makes you play better when you're in that mindset, which ultimately can be way more beneficial than you spending every waking minute, an hour practicing, grinding, trying to prep, because there's something to be said when you go into it with carefree, with the right mindset. Like, doesn't matter how prepared you are, what practice, like it's going to take your game to another level. And so it's been cool to see him play well last year, splitting time, quote unquote, but 126 or 7 on the money list last year, top 25 this year. That's good playing,
Heck yeah, it is. And I know you were watching the RSM, George, watching to see if Wesley was going to make that cut on Friday. And I'm sure you heard some of my criticism of Wesley. And the reason this criticism came out is because he was I'll tell you what it was. The reason why you don't get shown on coverage is because you play so fast we can't even get a camera set up. I remember on the 16th hole, I think you hit it over the green, and we didn't even get there live because you had literally just hitting your wedge shot, and you would already basically chip before we were even prepared for you to hit. And I was sitting there thinking, does this guy play too fast for his own good sometimes, or is this just like a bit? Because I have never seen somebody play that fast in a round of golf and the most meaningful time of potentially getting a PGA Tour card. But I mean, that's kind of what you do, man. You've played the fastest round on the PGA Tour in 88 minutes at Conway. I know that you wanted to make a birdie or par more than anybody, but at that time I was like, holy crap, this is flying.
Yeah. I mean, I've always played fast, and again, we even have PGA Tour officials that hate for my my name to even leave his mouth, and Stephen Cox, who got absolutely berated over the internet. And it wasn't my doing.
Tough scene. That was kind of a tough scene.
I just brought it to light and let people cast their own judgments on Stephen Cox there. I like Stephen. I understand the dryness of his humor, but again, was that little bit appropriate? Probably not, but it was alluding to the same thing. You can play fast and still play good, and I do think pace of play is a huge problem on the PGA Tour. And again, there's small little complaints I have with the PGA Tour, but as far as YouTube side, back to that question of why would I want to do this over locking in and trying to do the best I can on the tour, is because, hey, at this point I'm 35, I got 3 kids, and a wife, and want to be a dad at some point. And now the YouTube thing is going well, and I've afforded the luxury. I could either go play with people that I wouldn't necessarily want to play with on a daily basis, travel to places that have a date and a time that's set up for me, or I could go play with my best buds and my brother, and we pick the location and we pick the time and place. And
there you go.
And we get to go on the ultimate guys golf trip and play with your buds and get to call it a job. It's again, PGA Tour is great. Don't get me wrong. But if you were able to set up with your best buds and go to the coolest places in the world, it doesn't seem like a horrible B option.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you guys? Y'all got paired with each other at Bermuda. I mean, was any fun moments from those 2 days? I imagine Wesley, you made the cut and played pretty nice. George, you were pretty close, right?
Yeah, I was close. I went. I knew that was going to happen. It's something last 2023. I actually had this resurgence of I mean, if you put me on a
you're playing nice.
full year on PGA Tour, I would have made half the cuts for sure and played. Like my game was just really good, and I was confident, which makes up for a lot. Where this year you kind of you get through 2 stages of Q school out of nowhere, and so then I have all these expectations, or like not expectations, but like, wow, maybe I can let's keep it going. Let's see where this game goes. But then have another kid. Bryan Bros is growing, so like that's obviously the focus. So my game kind of just like slips a little bit, but I'm into 2 PGA Tour events, Myrtle Beach and then Bermuda. But Bermuda, the game was kind of like not like downward this. It was like this, and so I was like, I was like, man, the wind gets up, I could be in trouble in Bermuda. And so the game, but I ended up shooting, I think 75, 71 or 75, 72. Like,
it's so cool
scores.
Though. Y'all played together, man.
But that teeing it up with him, like that first tee box, like, basically the whole year of a lifelong dream of playing on the tour, like together. Now we've done it 2 times prior in the same field, but like together, the whole family's there, like, and seeing it up, like, it was really cool. Like, I honestly didn't care how I played, just the fact that I'm able to look back, we have videos of it.
That's awesome,
like playing
man.
around.
You
your
didn't
brother.
care, but I cared. The problem was I was playing great, and I was fighting to keep a tour card, and I was right in the thick of it. And here I am. I should have been like locked in and excited, and I'm over here like
sad for me,
sulking and sad because George is gonna miss the cut. He's got absolutely nothing going. It's like, we need this guy to start making some birdies now, and then another one would go by, and then another hole would go by.
Well, Wesley, you need to just come over like on the 6th hole on that Friday round and just say, George, you said you liked it right edge, buddy. It's a ball out, man. Like, it's obvious here.
Dude, obviously Stephen Cox is already all up in my business right now and angry, and imagine if I start giving George advice, what old Stephen Cox would say.
But it is. But like, it truly is crazy to think, like, you were there, like your whole dream was playing PGA Tour when I don't know when that started for you, but like you realized it, like you went on the PGA Tour, and so you kind of experience that early and like whatever. But I'm, the dream had kind of like went away, but it was still buried in my heart, like somewhere down there. Like I never played in the PGA Tour, but I just wanted to play in one. And the fact that we parlayed YouTube Golf in Bermuda taking a chance on me to like get a sponsor in 2023, like, hey, you can come help tell our story. We want you to be a part of this event. And the fact that I was able to realize my like dream of playing a PGA Tour event was something like, again, I'll never forget that first tee shot in Bermuda in 23. For like, I'm 35, never played in a tour event, and I am teeing it up, and experiencing that for the first time, and having Wesley and my parents there to watch it was really cool. And the fact that like I was able to hold it together after 30 plus years of like wanting this moment, and was really cool. You get into that mode as golfers, like, oh, it's another golf tournament, I've been here before. You kind of get in that groove, and I birdied my first 2 holes on tour. Can't feel my hands, don't even know where I am on the first hole at Bermuda. Legitimately, I'm like floating, going so fast. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm just going to pull the trigger and whatever, hit the fairway, then hit this wedge to 20 feet and cash it. I'm like, okay, all right, now we're back. Okay, yeah. But no, it's wild. It truly is wild to think about that. Like,
it's awesome.
Smylie, do you remember what you did on your first hole on the PGA Tour? First start.
It would have been. Well, gosh, I mean, before like I had a PGA Tour card, or when I did?
No, I'm just saying your first hole ever on the PGA Tour.
Oh gosh,
because did you get a sponsors invite?
I got a couple sponsors, and I think it was maybe Auburn, like at Barbasol. I think I got a spot. Mm-hmm. Probably made bird. I don't know.
I remember you dominating the what tour was it?
Hopkins Tour.
Yeah,
Hopkins Tour.
Like you were like the legend, because like you come out, like we all, again, I'm older. I take notice of who else is coming out. I'm like, Smylie, like this guy, like look at his career. I'm like, this guy was an okay golfer, but like whatever. And because you like come from relatively nowhere, then all of a sudden shooting these like 62, 64, 63s, like winning those, then you.
That was Mark Silver's tour, George. That was Mark Silver's tour. But then Smylie came in.
Yeah, not great, Bob. Still owed me $15,000 from that win.
But I do believe, if my memory serves correct, because then you Mondayed into a Corn Ferry event that year.
Yeah, I did.
Right, and then got your card through Monday. Like Or
I got through I got through Q school that fall, like breezed through, and then got conditional status, and that's where I ended up Mondaying in.
Okay, so is that next year?
And then I got a spot too in Louisiana, and that's like where my whole thing just got hot, and then
I mean, that's just how crazy golf is. It's like again, it doesn't matter where you like. Again, Matt Atkins, one of our buddies, is kind of the same way. Like, you don't have to have a great.
God, I love him, man.
You don't have a great.
I love him more, I promise.
What do y'all call him? What's his nickname?
Matkins. Oh, Crashkins.
Crashkins.
Yeah, he crashed a golf cart on stream into like some trees, and so everyone Crashkins.
Okay, love that.
No,
hey, Wesley, why don't you think more guys? And I know. For being in the YouTube game, and I understand like how long pro, days are, how long they spend practicing, training. Why don't you think more guys have like created their own channel to try to, strengthen their brands? I would call it.
Yeah. Well, it's really invasive. Two, it's a lot of work. It's wildly more work. You always have to be on.
Yeah.
And these guys, like they want to be on to perform. And then when it's off, they want to be off, away from the circus, so to speak. And then third, they're like right now, and you're even seeing it a lot on the live side, like there's a huge barrier to entry. Like if you don't do it the right way with the right team and have it feel,
used to not be that way, right?
Right, exactly. Like, so when we came in, there was no other option. So we could kind of like blaze our own trail. At this point, if you want to come in and do it, it has to be done the right way with the right people at the right place. It feels like there's so many boxes you have to check. And again, there's not a lot of top tier athletes that want to have their world turned upside down just to make YouTube videos.
Has the PGA Tour made it easier on guys to potentially have an option to do that? Because I recently saw that your practice round at the Amex, that seems like a step in the right direction. I know you guys are on the Creator Council. I don't know exactly what that means.
George and Wesley here.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what that is either, Smylie. Just
okay.
To be fair, and we're on it, so.
Your logo's on it, so that's exciting.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean they've given us the ability to do stuff a little more. They haven't. The reason why it'd be difficult is they're not at the spot where they're offering like support to actually help you produce and create. And maybe it's going there at some point. I don't know
because they would want that on their own channel too.
Right, exactly.
Which y'all are like, hey, if we're producing all this, we're spending the dollars like we want it on our channel.
Yeah. And we've got freedom to do whatever we want on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh, good.
And
well, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's been the case the last few years. It's just nobody. They have all these rules and regulations and red tape kind of around it all, but. At the end of the day, there's not a lot of people, like I said, that are willing to give up the time, energy, and effort to do it.
Well, I would in a Twitch video 5 years ago.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, you would. Now
bring it back.
At that point, we probably were breaking the rules.
100%.
Don't tell anybody.
No. I read them. It Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We can live stream.
Y'all gotta send me this Twitch video. I gotta go back and watch this thing to see who won this match.
I don't even know where that would be. I know you definitely in the trick shot days.
It might have been. It might have even been Instagram Live potentially.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do some digging today. The weather's going to be terrible here. So
yeah. All right. Well, this last couple questions, guys. It's just about how you guys, your councilmen, and now and your owners too. Your owners.
Yeah.
You're owners. You're owner of a golf course. You're owner. You have an ownership stake in Takomo Golf. Why don't we just start with Solina Golf Club? Is this what this place has always been called, or is this a rebranding? Tell me like how y'all stumbled upon this, because this is. I'm so curious.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, formerly Indian River Golf Course that we played. My dad was actually head pro of when it first came about. Used to be just a good golf course, like just your typical country club, or not country
Columbia?
Club, in Columbia.
Okay.
Just imagine the most above average public golf course that you could think of. It was decent shape, and that's what it was. But then it turned off. I mean, it turned into not even a golf course. I mean, truly, the people. They were charging, I think, $18 to play. They should have been paying people to play this golf course. It was that bad. And so it went up for sale, and Wesley and my dad came. I can't remember how Wesley either.
Well, it didn't really go up for sale. My pops came and said, "Hey, I think the owner is ready to get rid of it." And Pops was like, I think that you should seriously look into it. I was like, Dad, I'm not going to buy a golf course. Like, my dad has some he has some dumb ideas, Smylie.
Yeah.
Love the guy to death, but man, when it comes to using his brain at times, he just doesn't have it.
Yeah.
And so I thought he was off his rocker. I was like, dude, Indian River's terrible. It's not even a golf course.
Yeah.
And so I drive out there, look at it just to oblige him. And I started I just had this vision. I was like, dude, Pops, you might have been right. This place is sick. Or it could be. It could be. If it had grass and had greens on it and we can kind of mold it around. And so I went to a business guy here in Columbia who was one of my dad's students. And I was like, hey, I got like a crazy idea. Obviously, I've called you to this meeting and I don't really know what I'm doing at all. Operationally, I know that you know how to run businesses and buy things and do things. So I'm just curious if you'd want to get into the golf business with me. He goes, yeah, explain more. So I gave probably the worst. I'm 1 minute into the worst elevator sales pitch on a terrible golf course that you could ever imagine. And he was like, screw it, let's do it. I was like, no, Greg, I don't think you understand. I got no clue how much it's going to cost. I don't know the slightest bit about anything. I just know what I want to look at, and I just need someone else that can pull it off. He said, dude, I got it. Let's do it. I was like, for real? He said, yeah.
So he handled the negotiations and figuring out what they would pay.
He's taken, we've had, I'm not going to say absolutely nothing to do with it up to this point, but just about nothing to do with it.
Okay.
At this point. So he's just letting it ride. And
Sweet.
It's been such a fun journey.
Yeah.
And
where are we at? Tell me more about
18
Solina
holes.
Golf Club. What's the vision besides obviously going to, I would assume, remain a public course? And are we going to have
It's actually private. It's actually
private.
I wanted to fill a need. There's no good solid golf clubs in Columbia that were high-end golf courses that were maintained well. And so I kind of went into, hey, we need to fill a void here. Like, obviously, using our brand, we'd love for it to be public. Like, we absolutely would love that. And who's to say down the road that that's not going to happen? But right now, it's 18 holes, private golf course. We got a few hundred members, and people love the golf course. And we're still, it's a full construction zone still, trying to build out the clubhouse and locker room. And
when do we have balls on the first tee? What's the target date?
Oh, it's been open
for a year.
Yeah, I thought you said there was a construction thing.
Well,
we're still building some tee boxes and still building a clubhouse.
Okay. Well, how is the golf course? Tell me more.
It is so pure.
Yeah,
it's so unbelievably pure. Like, you could host a tour event. Nobody would complain about course conditions.
And how bad was it when you went and checked it out? However many years ago this was.
Truly, you can't fathom how bad it was. There's no fairways. The greens were like disease sand pits.
So who the heck got it so good then?
You couldn't walk on the greens without rolling your ankle. They would change the pins once every 3 months probably, and you couldn't drive a golf cart down the fairways or you would tip it.
How many years ago was this?
2022. 2 years ago.
All right, so you obviously y'all hired a good course superintendent or something because that's a turnaround, man.
Yeah, I think he's the best. So keep in mind, we've got Indian River, the worst public course in Columbia, South Carolina. We go when we take it over and we're starting to look at superintendents. I'm like, this is our bread and butter. We've got to have a good golf course. The guy that's our superintendent, he started at Palmetto, which obviously is unbelievable.
Incredible.
From there, he went with John Lavelle over to Congaree, helped build and take care of that place.
Okay.
And then went with John to Old Barnwell, built and took care of that place.
That's a strong pedigree.
Didn't quite finish it. So those are the only 3 golf courses he's touched. And then he came to Indian River, which was a disaster. But it's plain, like, at this point, I'm fairly certain our guy, if he wanted any job in the country, what he's done there, he's been unbelievable.
All you got to do is, it sounds like, just show the pictures of what it used to be and what it looks like now. Like, that's the best glamour shot before and after that you could possibly ask for.
No, it's been fun to watch him.
That's sweet. If I'm in Columbia, I'm going to come play with Solina.
You need to come down.
All right. Last plug. All right, time for y'all to plug Takomo Golf. You're all right.
Let's go.
Give me the plug.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Like, again, where we're at is like, we want to partner with people that want to like help us grow, and we want to help them grow, like some like mutually beneficial, like actually have partnerships that like Roback, like now to like Takomo the last couple of years, like they care about us. They want to see us do well and succeed, just like we want to see them do well and succeed. And they're a company where like, you know, a lot of people can't afford, you know, brand new sets of irons. Like again, the Callaways, the Titleist, like this is gonna be $2,000, $2,500 for a brand new set of irons. And like most people that play this game aren't just going to be able to do that. So, but Takomo comes in and like, you know, direct along with a few other companies out there, the direct to consumer, where you can charge $600 to $800, $700 for a brand new set of irons, make it way more accessible, but still not lose any of the quality. As you're seeing, you know, Wesley is one of the best ball strikers on tour using Takomos. And it's just cool because like, yeah, we can push people to affordable clubs like that are still very high quality. And they also want to do cool things within the golf space and like kind of, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing I'm most excited about. Yeah. They are excited about changing the game in golf and creating good products and helping us tell their story. Yeah, they've been great to work with, and we're excited where the future's going. And we have some exciting things this year that we'll be launching.
Grant's involved, right?
Yeah, Grant. So yeah, again, like they're showing by like wanting the Grants in the world, us in the world, some other creators like to help tell their story, to help grow their brand is cool because it makes us feel like we're important, like we're like our voice can like whether we have suggestions, they listen to what we have to say, and again all those guys
Smylie,
are there. Yeah,
you can obviously tell we're long form content creators because you just wanted the plug. And George acted like we had like an hour-long YouTube video to be able to put a plug in the middle of the video.
Listen,
I would give you the plug. I'm not telling you to go buy some new irons, but if you're in the market and you don't want to spend $2,000 on a set of irons, you can get the same premium quality, premium feel, and performance that I trust for a third of the price. So head on over to TakomoGolf.com. Check out their array of irons. I personally use the CBs. I personally use the CBs, but they have options for all skill levels. Go check it out. We'll put the link in the description.
I tell you what, Wesley, you were totally underselling your elevator speech. I think this is why you guys are owner of a golf course, because that was an incredible little spiel there. Actually, that was less than that. That was about 20, 30 seconds. So give yourself some credit. Maybe a future salesman, Wesley Bryan.
Smylie, just like you got to get in and get out whenever they put your mic live. That you got a quick little time. You can't just ramble for a minute. They've shown, well, I would say they've shown multiple shots. They've probably only still shown one shot at that point and gone to a commercial break. But
so what's your favorite thing about this kind of new gig you're doing, like calling golf and being out there?
Well, I think it summarizes what we just talked about the last hour, which is I have a different perspective on life, a different perspective on the game of golf. I wake up and I feel like I can challenge myself every single day to prep and work hard and feel like I can improve at something every day. And for a very long time, I worked my tail off and got worse. So it's really fun to show up, to work every day with great people, a great team. I love being a part of a team because you really need everybody kind of working in sync for a broadcast to really sound the way you want it to. So it's been a really fun challenge. There's been days and times and words that I've spoken that I'm like, you're an idiot. And I've had those moments where I'm like on my knees, like, what did you just say? Cause like every time you open your mouth, you're talking to, a lot of people. So it's been a learning experience, a lot of fun, great perspective. But yeah, I've enjoyed every step of the way, and I know you guys have dabbled in that stuff too.
I just had one of those moments, Smylie, where I took a shot at PGA Tour broadcast, and I feel terrible about it. And I was probably going to text you after the podcast and apologize for it. And I will say, with one of my jabs will come a compliment. I do feel like you're one of the most prepared as far as like when you're given like snippets on people. And like little backstories and stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
And also like you've got a good relationship with a lot of the guys, which you can't like recreate that. And that's why I think I'm not going to call you a former athlete because I still think you could have some good golf years ahead of you.
Well, I'm in the YouTube space now, Wesley. And this is
Sorry, YouTuber Smylie. Speaking of which, do you want to? We need to set up a match at some point.
Well, let's go to Solina Augusta week. Y'all there in the Masters?
Yeah, I think so.
All right,
Well,
I'll be there.
I mean, we'll see.
Oh, around
We'll
then.
see.
I'll
You
be
be in the
in
Masters,
that
Wesley?
neighborhood, like that part of the world, I guess, around the Masters.
I mean, we're also not afraid to come to you, Smylie. We like Birmingham.
See, the problem is I don't want to lose a home game. I'd rather lose on the road because I got an excuse.
Fair enough.
Big renovation coming at Shoal Creek, right?
Yeah, we got Andrew Green coming in. He's coming in October. So excited to see what he's going to do. But yeah, let's get something set up. I know we've just took an hour of your time. We're super appreciative of both you two guys, and maybe we'll have you two on a happy hour too. That would be a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys have watched much of the coverage of our Friday happy hours, but maybe this springtime can get you all guys on and call some golf with me.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, so Players Week could be fun. I'm just saying. I mean, it could
Coming
be fun.
on, you want to do some happy hour Players Week?
We might be there. Maybe.
Okay. Noted. Check. All right. Okay. That seems like a tune in type of deal. All right.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Yeah, this is fun. Thanks for texting us, and thanks for wanting us to come on again. I love.
Go Tigers. Go Cox. Yeah, the whole deal.
It's fun.
All right, Georgie.
Speaking of which, I'm glad you didn't bring up that LSU Carolina game because that was some hot beefy.
You know, one of my favorite people in the world, and this is tough. Shane Beamer. He is amazing. He'll like just randomly text me every now and then. I met him in Augusta last year. Big golf fan, obviously. And when we were playing them last fall, like week 3 at South Carolina, we were beating our brains in. And then we end up coming back and winning in a very dicey way we won how we won the football game. But I love Shane, and he's a lot like Wesley too, like not afraid to speak his mind publicly about certain things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, we just had him on our alternate channel, and he went into his bowl game. It was good stuff. But actually, I just called him yesterday or the day before. I played a few holes with Lenora Sellers, came out to Solina.
Oh, he did?
And, yeah, dude, he had to have been the most polite. Like
Sellers?
Yes, sir, no, sir. Like soft-spoken, sweet. Just, I had to call him. I was like, man,
could you tackle
what
him?
is it like? I was like, what is it like coaching him? Like, does he get like flustered and angry and I don't know, like competitive?
Yeah.
He said, dude, he's the most polite kid. Like he's getting his head blasted by coaches, and he's like, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you.
It's a good
Thanks
problem
for
to
the
have.
feedback. Yes, sir. I'm like, how do you? Goodness gracious,
dude, he is so fast.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to watch him play.
Good.
Could imagine tackling him. All right, well, y'all are more than welcome to come to Death Valley this year. I believe we're playing the Gamecocks in Baton Rouge, so maybe there's an option too. Maybe this fall we go and dabble in some Death Valley and play a little golf over in my homeland.
I like what that sounds.
Yeah, we got options. All right, be on the lookout. We got the Smylie Show. We got the Bryan Bros. Appreciate it, boys.
See ya.
Anytime. Literally anytime, Smylie.
Later, guys.
See ya.
You know, I listen to this podcast. It's really cool. And
all of our lovely fans and subscribers, but make sure you like and subscribe.
It's cool to see what you guys are doing. I know golf fans appreciate it, but we do too, so please keep it up.
For all the good people of YouTube, like and subscribe.
You guys have some good takes, so I'm happy to come on and shoot the